Hello my precious friends, I really hope that you are doing great. Welcome to our today's class. It's our 6th lesson on a given form 2 mathematics topic called linear motion. So we are looking at our example number 6, which reads that a train whose length is 86 meters. So the length of the train we are given as 86 meters is traveling at 28 kilometers per hour. So its speed is 28 kilometers per hour. In the same direction as a truck whose length is 10 meters. So the length of the truck we are given as 10 meters. Then you are told that they are traveling in the same direction. So that means if the train is moving towards the right hand direction, similarly the truck must be moving in the right hand direction. Then you are told that if the speed of the truck is 60 kilometers per hour, so this one has a speed of 60 kilometers per hour and is moving parallel to the train, calculate the time it takes the truck to overtake the train completely. So they want us to find the overtaking time. So the first thing we are going to do is to find the relative speed between this particular train and the truck. So relative speed will be given by so remember, if bodies are moving in the same direction, if you want to find the relative speed, you simply find the difference between the speeds of the two bodies. Therefore, I'm going to take the larger speed, which is 60 kilometers per hour. Then I subtract the smaller speed, which is 28 kilometers per hour. So this is going to give me, if I take 60 minus 28, I'm going to get a relative speed of 32 kilometers per hour. So this is 32 kilometers per hour. So that is the relative speed of the two bodies. So they want us to find the time that is taken. So remember, we also need to get what we call the relative distance. So relative distance. So the relative distance will simply be equal to the distance which is involved in that particular process of overtaking. So remember, because the truck is moving at a higher speed, which is 60 kilometers per hour as compared to the speed of the train, it simply means that the truck in this case is the one that is going to overtake the train. Therefore, the relative distance which is involved in the process of overtaking will simply be 86 meters plus the 10 meters. Because remember, overtaking simply means that this particular truck has first of all to move from this particular point up to this point. So if it moves up to this point, the distance that it will have covered, it will actually be 10 meters. So that will be the 10 meters. That is the distance which is equivalent to its length, the 10 meters. Then when it moves in such a way that it now completely overtakes this particular train, the distance that it will have covered will be the 86 meters. That is a distance equal to the length of the train. Therefore, the total relative distance will be 10 meters plus 86 meters. Or in short, you simply add the speed of the train and also the speed of this particular truck if you want to find the relative distance. So this will be equal to 10 plus 86. You are going to get 96 meters as our relative distance. So remember, the question wants us to find the time that is involved, or what we are calling the relative time. So we know that speed is equals to distance of the time taken. Therefore, the relative time, relative speed is given by the relative distance, then divided by relative distance divided by overtaking time, divided by the overtaking time. That is the time that is involved in the process of overtaking. But because we have our speed being in kilometers per hour and our distance is in meters, so these two cannot work. Therefore, we need to convert either the distance in terms of kilometers so that it rhymes with our speed, or we can as well convert the speed into meters per second. So let me convert the distance into kilometers. We know that 1,000 meters is equals to 1 kilometer. What about 96 meters? So that will be 96 meters over 1,000 meters multiplied by 1 kilometer. So this will be divided by, that is 96 meters over 1,000 meters multiplied by 1 kilometer. So this will be equivalent to, if you take 96 divided by 1,000, you're going to get 0. So this distance will be equivalent to 0.096 kilometers. So that is our distance in kilometers. Therefore, our relative speed, if I substitute the values that I have, I'll be having 32 kilometers per hour, being equal to the relative distance in kilometers is 0.096 kilometers. Then I divide with overtaking time, which I want to represent with t. So if I cross multiply, I'm going to have 32 t being equal to 1 multiplied by 0.096. I'll simply get 0.096. Of course, this is kilometers. Then 32 is in kilometers per hour. Therefore, time will be equal to 0.096 kilometers, then divided by 32 kilometers per hour. So this is going to give me 0.096 divided by 32. I'm going to get 0. So this will be 0.003 hours. So this is the overtaking time. So I can convert it into seconds. Therefore, the time will be 0.003 hours, then divided by 1 hour, of course, multiplied by 3,600 seconds, which is going to give us, multiplied by 3,600 seconds, this is going to give us 10.8 seconds. 10.8 seconds. So this is the time that is taken to complete the overtaking process. Then we look at our example number 7, which reads that a truck 5 meters long. So our truck here is has a length of 5 meters, completely overtakes a trailer. That's a trailer which is 15 meters long. So the length of the trailer is 15 meters, traveling in the same direction in 4.8 seconds. So the direction of movement is the same. If this one is moving towards the right, similarly the truck will be moving in the same direction. So in 4.8 seconds. So this is the overtaking time. So we are given the overtaking time to be 4.8 seconds. So this is 4.8 seconds. Then you are told if the speed of the truck is 40 kilometers per hour. So this one has a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Determine the speed of the trailer in kilometers per hour. So I'm going to let the speed of the trailer to be x kilometers per hour, because I'm not given that speed. So remember that relative speed can be given by, so I'm going to find the relative speed. So relative speed will be equal to, so because the bodies are moving in the same direction, this one simply means that if you want to find the relative speed, you are going to subtract, that is the two speeds. So we have the 40 kilometers per hour and the x kilometers per hour. But we need to determine which speed is larger so that we know what to subtract from what. So we are told that a truck which is 5 meters long completely overtakes the trailer. So because the truck is the one that is overtaking the trailer, this one simply means that the trailer is moving at a slower speed as compared to the speed of the truck. Because if the trailer was moving at a higher speed, then it will not be possible for the truck to overtake it. So it simply means that the speed of the trailer, which is 40 kilometers per hour, is greater as compared to the speed of the trailer, which is x kilometers per hour. Therefore, if I want to get a positive value of the relative speed, I'm going to take the larger value, the larger speed, which is 40 kilometers per hour. Then I subtract the smaller speed, which is x kilometers per hour. So remember, I'm concluding that the speed of the trailer is smaller because the trailer is the one that is being overtaken. So the speed of the truck must be greater than the speed of the trailer in order for the truck to overtake that particular trailer. Then we also need to find what we call the relative distance. Distance. So the relative distance will simply be the sum of the distances of these two particular vehicles. So remember, for the truck to overtake it simply means that the truck has to move such that its end gets to this point. So when the truck gets to this point, the distance that it will have covered is actually the 5 meters. So this will be 5 meters, then plus. Now for our truck to move from this point up to this point, for it to have completely overtaken the trailer, it means the distance that it will have covered is actually the 15 meters. Therefore, our relative distance will be 5 plus 15, which is going to give us 20 meters. Then because we are given the speed in kilometers per hour, I need to convert this one into kilometers. So the 20 meters will be 20 meters over 1,000 meters multiplied by 1 kilometer. Therefore, in kilometers, 20 divided by 1,000, we are going to get 0.02 kilometers. So that is our overtaking. That is the overtaking distance. So then remember, we are also given the overtaking time. Therefore, they want us to find the speed of one of the bodies, and we know this particular relationship, that relative speed must give us the relative speed is equals to relative distance, then divided by overtaking time, divided by the overtaking time. Therefore, if I substitute values in my formula, I'm going to have relative speed will be 40 minus x. So this is 40 minus x must be equal to relative distance will be 0.02 kilometers, 0.02, then divided by overtaking time. I was told that it is taking 4.8 seconds, but because my speed is in kilometers per hour, then the distance is in kilometers, then it means I have to convert the time from seconds into hours, because kilometers per hour will correspond with hours. So if I convert the 4.8 seconds into hours, it will simply be 4.8 seconds. Then of course divided by 3,600 seconds multiplied by 1 hour. Therefore, this will be, if I do cross multiplication, this is going to give me, of course, this is over 1. So this value is going to multiply with this equation here. So I'm going to have 4.8 divided by 3,600 hours, then into 40 minus x must be equal to 1 multiplied by 0.02 kilometers. So this will give me, if I take 4.8 divided by 3,600, I'm going to get, so if I divide this, I want to open this bracket, so I'll have 4.8 divided by 3,600 multiplied by 40. Then I also have minus 4.8 divided by 3,600 x being equal to 0.02. So if I take 4.8, that is 4.8 over 3,600, then I multiply it by 40. I'm going to get 4 over 75. So this will give me 4 over 75, then minus 4.8 divided by 3,600. I'm going to get 1 over 750. So this will be 1 over 750. Then of course there is an x which should be equal to 0.02. Then looking at the given equation, my LCM will be 750. so the LCM will be 750. Therefore, I'm going to multiply through with the LCM. So my LCM is 750, so I'm going to multiply this part with 750, which is the LCM. I also multiply this with 750. I also multiply this with 750. So of course 75 here one time, 75 into 750, it will go there 10 times. So I'm going to remain with 40 being equal to, so 40 minus, of course 750 and 750 will cancel out. I remain with minus x, which should give me 0.02 multiplied by 750. I'm going to get 15. So this one is equals to 15. So I'll take x to this side, then 15 to the other side. So I'm going to have 40 minus 15 being equal to positive x. Therefore, the value of x will be equal to 40 minus 15, which is going to give me 25. So this will give me 25. But remember, x was representing the speed in kilometers per hour. Therefore, it means x will be 25 kilometers per hour. Therefore, that will be the speed of the trailer. Then we also look at our example number 8, which reads that we are given a train moving at an average speed of 72 kilometers per hour. So this is our train. Its speed is 72 kilometers per hour. It takes 15 seconds to completely cross a bridge. So the overtaking time is 15 seconds. So this is our overtaking time. Overtaking time is actually 15 seconds to completely cross a bridge which is 80 meters long. So the bridge is 80 meters long. So in Roman 1 of the question, we are told to express 72 kilometers per hour in meters per second. So remember, 72 kilometers per hour is simply the same as saying 72 kilometers then divided by 1 hour. Therefore, if I need meters per second, I'll convert the 72 into meters. So this will be 72 divided by 1 kilometer multiplied by 1,000 meters. Then to convert the 1 hour into seconds, this will be over 1 hour multiplied by 3,600 seconds. So this is going to give me 72,000 then divided by 3,600 meters per second. So if I simplify this, I'm going to have the following. So if I simplify, if I take 72,000, then I divide with 72,000 divided by 3,600, I'm going to get 20 meters per second. So this will give me 20 meters per second. So this will be the speed in meters per second. So this is 20 meters per second. Then Roman 2 of the question, I'm told to find the length, find the length of the train in meters. So I'm going to let the length of the train to be x meters, so that I can find what we call the relative speed. Remember, the bridge is stationary. For a stationary body, its speed is usually 0. Therefore, the speed of the train, because that is the bridge, because the bridge is stationary, we'll say its speed will be 0 meters per second. When a body is at rest, it means it has no speed, because the speed is actually 0. Therefore, I'm going to find what we call the relative speed. So the relative speed will simply be given by you can either add or subtract the speeds. So it will simply be 72 kilometers per hour, but I've converted the 72 into meters per second. So I'm going to use the 20 instead of 72. So remember, 72 is the same as 20 meters per second. Therefore, relative speed we can either add or subtract. So this will be 20 meters per second. Then you add or you subtract 0 meters per second. Remember, even if you subtract, the answers will be the same, because 20 plus 0 or 20 minus 0, the answer will simply remain to be 20 meters per second. Then you also need to have the relative distance. relative distance. The relative distance will simply be equal to the summation of the length of the two bodies, because overtaking simply means that this particular train will first of all move up to this point. If it moves to this point, the distance that it has covered will be x meters, then plus for it to completely overtake it, it simply means that the train has to move to up to this point. So if it moves to that point, the distance that it will have covered will be the 80 meters. Therefore, our relative distance will be x plus 80 meters. Therefore, this is what we are calling our relative distance. But we know that relative speed is given by, because we know that speed is distance over time, therefore relative speed will be given by relative distance. The relative distance, then you divide with the overtaking time divided by overtaking time. Therefore, if I substitute the values that I have, I'm going to have the following. Relative speed is 20 meters per second. So 20 meters per second will simply be equal to relative distance in terms of meters will be x plus 80 meters, then divided by overtaking time. Let me see if I'm given. Yeah, overtaking time was 15 seconds. So this is 15 seconds. Remember, 15 seconds rhymes with meters per second. So this will be divided by 1. If I cross multiply, I'm going to have 20 multiplying with 15, which should give us 1 multiplied by 1 into x plus 80. So this one is multiplying with this, then 1 multiplies with that. So this is going to give us the following. So we are going to get 20 multiplied by 15, you are going to get 300. So this will be 300 is equals to, of course, 1 times x, you'll get x. 80 by 1 by 80, you'll also get 80. So the value of x will actually be equal to 300 then minus 80. Therefore, our x will be 300 minus 80. You are going to get 220 meters. So 220 meters. Therefore, that is the length of the train. So it means the length of the train was 220 meters. Then we look at our last example, which is example 9, which reads that two trucks A and B, traveling at 28 kilometers per hour and 26 kilometers per hour respectively, approach one another. So approaching one another simply means that if A is moving to the right hand direction, then B must be moving to the left hand direction, so that they are moving towards each other or in opposite directions. So we are told that for truck A, it has a speed of 28 kilometers per hour. So this one is moving at 28 kilometers per hour. Then B is moving at 26. This one is moving at 26 kilometers per hour. Respectively, approach one another on a straight stretch of road. Then truck A is 10 meters long. So this one is 10 meters long, while B is 8 meters long. So our B is 8 meters long. Determine the time in seconds that elapses before the two trucks completely pass each other. So they simply want us to find the overtaking time. So to find the overtaking time, we need to have the relative speed and the relative distance. So relative speed will be equivalent to, so relative speed, if bodies are moving in opposite direction, we usually add the two speeds. So this one will be equal to 26 kilometers per hour. Then you add the other speed, which is 28 kilometers per hour. So if bodies are moving in opposite direction, to find their relative speed, you add. Then if bodies are moving in the same direction, to find their relative speed, you simply subtract. So this will be 26 plus 28. We are going to get a relative speed of 54 kilometers per hour. Then you also find the relative distance between these two bodies. So relative distance will always be the sum of the length of those two bodies, because when we talk of each completely passing each other, it means that our this particular body B has to move. It has to move up to this point. When it moves to this point, the distance that it has covered will be its own distance, which is the 8 meters. Then if it moves such that its end comes to the starting point of the other body, the distance that it will have covered is this 10 meters. So it will be 8 plus 10 meters, which is going to give us 18 meters. So that is our relative distance. But our speed is in kilometers per hour, whereas our distance is in meters. But the question wants the answer in seconds. The question wants the answer in seconds. Therefore, I'll convert the 54 kilometers per hour into meters per second. Alternatively, I can also work with the speed when it is in kilometers, so that we'll convert later. So this one in kilometers is going to give us 18 meters, of course, over 1,000 meters, then multiplied by 1 kilometer, which is going to give us 18 divided by 1,000. You're going to get a distance of 0. So this will give us a distance of 0.018 kilometers. 0.018 kilometers. Then of course, after that, we need to, now that we have the relative distance and also the relative speed, we can actually find the overtaking time. So we know that relative speed is given by the relative distance, then divided by the overtaking time, which will be, so relative speed, we got it as 54 kilometers per hour, which should be equal to relative distance, we got it as 0.018 kilometers, divided by overtaking time, which I'm calling t. So if I divide through by 1, if I cross multiply, I'll have 54t being equal to 1 multiplied by 0.018. Then if I divide through by 54, I also divide through by 54. It simply means that the overtaking time t will be equal to 0.018, then divided by 54. I'm going to get 1 over, so this is giving me 1 over 3,000. 1 over 3,000. Remember, these are hours, because our speed was in kilometers per hour, then our distance was in kilometers. So 0.018 divided by 54, you are going to get 1 over 3,000 hours. But they wanted the time in seconds, so this one will be equivalent to 1 over 3,000 hours divided by 1 hour, then multiplied by 3,600 seconds, because we know that 3,600 seconds is equals to 1 hour. Therefore, our time, the overtaking time, will be equal to, so 1 over 3,000, then multiplied by 3,600, you are going to get 1.2 seconds. So this will give us 1.2 seconds. Therefore, that is the time that elapsed for the overtaking process to be completed. So in our next lesson, we'll be looking at further examples on linear motion. Thank you very much for accompanying me until the end of this particular lesson. I do not take it for granted. In case you are new to the channel, kindly hit the subscription button and also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll get notified. Until next time, this is Kind Tuition Academy. Thank you.